And we're recording. It's all yours at my screen. Beautiful. Okay, it's all yours, Ron.
Whoop. I think you're up. Okay, perfect. Let me take that on a full screen. Okay, there we go. All right. Before we begin, CUSA acknowledges the ancestral and traditional territories of the Algonquin Nation, whose territory we stand on today. And with that, we're going to get into our agenda. We're going to start off with announcements and correspondence. This would be the time where if you have your hand raised, I'm going to assume you have an announcement or correspondence. Osman and Halima? Or is that just up by mistake? Okay. All right, I see none. Moving on, I need someone to approve the agenda, please. At this point, you could just raise your hand. Thank you, Tinu. Can I have someone to second that, please? All right, I'll take Matt Gagne at the top there. Thank you. All in favor? This would also be a time where you'd raise your hand. Okay, any opposed? All right, any abstentions? All right, motion passes. I need someone to approve the past minutes, please. Cameron Davis, thank you. Can I have someone to second that, please? Ariana, thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. And with that, we're going to move on to the president's report.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. Always a pleasure. So I'll give you a quick summary of some of the things that I've been up to and what the team's been up to for the last month. It's definitely been interesting times. So first off, in response to recent racial violence and political unrest, we have established an anti-racism action plan, and here are some of the key elements that were implemented over the past month, and I'll also touch on some of our long-term plans. So Tino and I met with some key actors in university administration. So Suzanne Blanchard, the vice president, Jeremy Brzezowski, the director of student affairs, Michael Charles, the university advisor on equity and inclusive communities, Ikram Jama, the senior advisor for human rights and equity, and Lisa Rolfe, the associate vice president of student affairs. And we advocated for numerous institutional changes. And here are some of a few, including more racialized counselors at health and counseling, a more diverse fall orientation, teacher evaluations that include questions regarding inclusion and racism in the classroom, and a stronger framework within EIC to address subtle racism and microaggressions. We also held a mental health community check-in for Black students, a webinar on how non-Black students can stand in solidarity with our Black community on campus. We held a meetup for the march that happened in Ottawa. We also met with campus security and discussed many of the issues and places for improvement there, and how student voices, especially students of color, can be better represented through security on campus. And we also made a donation on behalf of CUSA to the Criminalization and Punishment Education Project. It's actually Ottawa-based, so you can look into it. I've linked the website there. And we're currently in the process of researching different options for anti-oppression training for our employees and clubs and societies. So that's like a brief overview, but if you have any questions, as always, you can reach out to me, and I'd love to hear your ideas on how we can be doing better in this area. I also sat on the interview board for the Spirit of the Youth Awards Ottawa, which was fun. I got to meet some leaders in high school around the city. I began some advocacy work on inclusive and accessible bathrooms on campus. I met with clubs as well as Sustainability Carleton to collaborate on a plastic-free July campaign. And I met recently with Suzanne Blanchard, who's the Vice President of Students and Enrollment, to discuss freezing tuition increases for international students, lowering tuition and admission policies for grade 12 students who are disproportionately affected by COVID-19 and online learning. So that's an overview of what I've been up to. Some ongoing projects. If you could just scroll down a little bit, please, Brian. Cool, thank you. So ongoing fall orientation programming plans. Ozzy will speak more on that. We're planning for opening of Haven Books and Cafe. I'm having regular meetings with Jeremy from the SEO. I attended the Senate and Board of Governors meetings this past month. And actually I got to approve the graduating class for 2020. So that was really exciting. And then we've had a meeting with the Board of Governors representatives of this year and the GSA as well. For the month ahead, I'm working on finalizing details for the anti-oppression training that I mentioned. We're also meeting with the University of Ottawa Students Union to discuss how we can collaborate over the coming year. I'm also working on finalizing the 2020-2021 CUSA strategic plan. And I'm setting up meetings with local politicians to also advocate for more support for students. I'm in the process of setting up the hiring committee for the executive coordinator. So I sent out an email about that. We'd love to have some counselors interested in being part of the hiring. So please respond to the email I sent out on Monday if you're interested. And I also have a meeting set up for this week with facilities management and planning on the bathroom renovations, and I'm in the process of consulting students as well. And then I'm working on the Plastic Free July campaign in terms of sustainability. So if you have any questions, as always, please reach out to me, prez@cusaonline.ca, and I'd be happy to set up a call, a meeting, and hear from you, chat with you, discuss any concerns or questions that you have. So that's it for me for this month.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the Vice President Finance report.
All right. Hello, everyone. Obviously, pretty hot, as many of us have stated. My AC is also broken in my house, so I'm with anyone who's in the same spot there. So in the last month, just covering a few things. So met with the GSA as well to review our partnership and service agreement, where we kind of like share the service centers. Haven's Cafe. So as we've kind of mentioned before, we're looking into revamping that. So we have a soft serve machine in there, and we'll also be having hard serve ice cream, and likely our coffee options as well for the summer. So as a way to open up that space for the community and also get some additional revenue coming into the organization. Met with Student Care, and we're actually looking at researching their all access legal plan for students that we talked about during our election to fulfill that campaign promise. Ollie's, we have some very preliminary conversations, but I just kind of wanted to give council, the first ear on this about whether we open up a patio a little bit. We might see a delivery service from Ollie's and Roosters coming soon as well. And I think Ollie's got a bit more to say about collaboration and a movie night with Ollie's for the summer and the rest of the year. So I'll let him talk more on that. As well as preparing the finance office for the year ahead. So we've had some changes, and one of our finance officers will actually be going away on maternity leave. So just making sure that our office is fully set up and we are good to go on throughout the rest of the year. Another thing as well, ongoing projects, we have our Havens revamp. So again, that's just super ongoing, from making sure that we have the right products in there to how we're actually gonna serve people. We order like a drive-through like window, so we're gonna up and down like from the sidewalks. People don't actually have to always come in the store. COVID safe procedures for customers. We do have a wide range of flavors as well. So if you have any interesting flavors that you'd like, we'll probably do a little bit something on Instagram. So keep an eye out for that, because there's literally hundreds and hundreds of different flavors of this stuff. On campus partnership revision. So again, just looking at a lot of the partnerships we have on campus between different groups, and just making sure that through those partnerships, we can actually make sure that the funds that we're contributing are being used specifically for experiences that students will have this year because of COVID. And last thing as well, so as I mentioned, Ollie's and Roosters, we are exploring the opportunity of a delivery service. So one is a way to try and employ some more students during COVID, but as well as, again, getting some more money in. And a lot of people have been asking how they can get a bagel witch at home. So this is the best scenario I could come up with. And then for the month ahead, so once again, Haven's big number one on the projects, just getting that open. We're hoping to be ready shortly after Canada Day. So definitely swing by. Digitizing the finance office, again, just reviewing and finding different softwares that work and store all the data we need. Super long, but during COVID, since we do have lower financial activity, it's the best time we're looking to do it. And then expanding our, I was supposed to say, or sorry, expand and transition to provide services pro funding virtually. So again, just looking at how we can better serve students. And although Zoom is like one really good way to interact, it's all about finding more ways to interact with students. So going beyond that and making sure that we can best serve our students this year. And finally, the budget, as well as finding out what campus life will look fall semester. I know the university has mentioned some ideas of like a hybrid model. So maybe just trying to find out more what the province is saying and then more what the university is, so we can find out what that's going to look like for student life and our businesses and the budget.
Okay, thank you. Now we're going to move on to the Vice President Internal Affairs report.
Hello, everybody. So in the past months, it's kind of been almost as similar since this whole COVID thing started. Usually at this time, I'd be planning and organizing events for clubs and just working with clubs when it comes to funding or some of their events, as some clubs do host events during the summer. But obviously this year is a very different year, and so the workload has definitely changed. So just continuous meetings with university departments, conference services, SEO, about how we want to go about Frosh, how we want to go certain events for clubs, and since everything will be virtual this year. Council vacancy postings, and just, chair and clerk, sorry, they've already been hired, so just ignore that. When it comes to vacancy postings, we have a accessibility fund committee, we have the constitutional one, and a few others that we need some students at large. So message to all my counselors, if you know anyone who's looking to get involved, anyone who would possibly be interested, please have them visit CUSA online. The postings are under jobs, or if they have any more questions, please let them email me, or just email me yourself and get us in touch. I can help them out that way. Also in the past month, SEO CU 1001 program. It's a little program they started for first year students. And we had to say no when it came to clubs, just a few of our programming events. Ongoing is the new CUSA hub. We're still working on that continuously with the web developers. Trying to add in some features that clubs wanted, trying to just get it ready and make sure it's efficient and fluent and works fine. Council, again, vacant seats. Social media presence, we made a council Instagram and a Facebook page. Thank you to the councils. It was their idea they brought up in the group chat. So we're still getting the bases covered and everything done. And then we're going to start incorporating all of our counselors through that. So they have a venue to connect and just more exposure to the student body. Strategic planning, clubs engagements and partnerships. Clubs are hosting events, although they're always on like Instagram Live or Facebook Live. We are looking at ways to just partner with them, help them any way possible, just to continue that student engagement, just so clubs don't die out and they continue their progress. Partnerships between students and clubs. I'm happy to say that there are a bunch of clubs who are new clubs that are starting up regardless of the situation that we're in. So it's always a good sign just to know that your student body is always looking for ways to get involved, and they're putting themselves out there to start this new club. So we've just been working with that. One-on-one with club and society execs. Obviously, very difficult job. We have over 300 clubs, but we're trying to tackle as many as we can and just let them know that we're here to help them, and just hearing out their concerns and in ways that we can help, and just if they have any problems, just help them solve them. Upcoming months, club recognition, just really planning and brainstorming ideas of ways to kind of have incentives and kind of rewards to the clubs who are putting their time and effort into this. At the end of the day, we're all students, so we just want to let them know that their efforts is appreciated. Again, as every months go by, we're opening more and more committees, so it's just an ongoing thing of trying to fill the positions. Coffee day with counselors is something that I've been meaning to start. So for those who don't know, coffee days with counselors are a opportunity for students to have one-on-one sit downs with their counselors, so the counselors have more exposure to the student body, and B, so students know who's representing them per faculty, so they can voice their opinions, voice their concerns, and councils can just do their parts and make sure they bring it to CUSA Council and we find a solution for all the students' problems. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, please do reach out to me. My email, vpi@cusaonline.ca. I wouldn't recommend trying the phone. I'm not really in the office nowadays, so email is the best way to go. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the Vice President's Student Issues Report.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great day. Okay, this is a bit. So in the past weeks, so CUSA released a COVID-19 support survey asking what some people and some students would need during these times. It's actually still up, so if you still haven't filled it yet, please do so. You could easily fill it up on our Instagram. If you attach it, the link tree is there, click on it and it'll be a go. I also plowed through research and ideas for campaign events. I would say I'm about 80% done. So the final stretch is meeting with students at large and sharing their ideas, because I know a lot of you, even you counselors out there, really had some bomb ideas. So I would love to see how we could implement it there. For those of you who don't know, I'm glad to announce September is still Before Play Ask. So that's Sexual Assault Awareness Month. October is still Pop the Stigma, which is mental health awareness. November is Financial Literacy Month, and I'm collaborating with Morgan on that, UVPCE. Very excited to see what's happening. December is still like Empower Me and Study Snacks and so forth. Keep in mind that there will be some pop-up clinics within these months, hopefully, fingers crossed. In the second semester, January will be null and void. February is Substance Use Awareness, not really month, I'm categorizing it as a week. March, which is one of the campaigns I'm really excited about, is Indigenous Awareness Month for at least Carleton. And within that, there's going to be Sustainability Week. Just want to say as well that we are still in June. It is still Pride Month, and it actually is Indigenous History Month here in Canada as well. So do some further research and just look into it in other marginalized communities. I also hosted a mental health check-in for students within the Black community with Osmond. It was really successful. It was literally just a time for people to just come express themselves in the way, because especially for the Black students, I could speak. It's been a tough couple of weeks, and this is not something that just arose in a couple of weeks. This is something that's ongoing, especially within our lives. So kudos to those who came up, kudos to those who are still being an accomplice. So thank you for that. I also facilitated a seminar alongside community partners on how non-Black students can be an accomplice towards eradicating anti-Black racism. So that was alongside Morgan and Kathleen. Kathleen already touched upon it. Again, it went really well as well. Shout out to the Ottawa U students who helped us just a bit, and the other community partners. They're bomb. Let's see. Oh yeah, worked on Pride and Indigenous Awareness Month initiative. So the Pride, again, shout out to Ozzy. He held it down when it came to that. He'll touch upon it in a second, but also Indigenous Awareness Month, especially with the history, our graphic went up for that. Yes, there's more, guys. I also created a directory of courses that focus on equity, diversity, and inclusion. So if you've been keeping up with my Instagram, I've basically been asking students at large to share the courses that they've taken in their Carleton career that center around these terms, especially because of what's going on. It's important that we educate ourselves, whether intentionally or unintentionally. So I, obviously alongside with CUSA as a whole, we comprise that directory. So if you're looking for any electives, be sure to check them out. You could also access them on the CUSA Instagram page. Our link tree is there. It's literally the first link. I created it myself. I find it very pretty. Yes, as I said, the list is still growing. So if you have any courses that you've taken, please let me know. The list is not exhaustive and we want to add to it. We met with university stakeholders, mainly President Benoit, that's on a separate occasion, Vice President Blanchard, Equity Services, Assistant Vice President Mike Charles, and the SEO with Kathleen. She already discussed about it. on how Carleton could become more inclusive towards Black students and other students of color. Also, very big ways that has happened, became an ex officio member of the Equity Inclusive Communities Advisory Group. So this group is basically, I would say, the engine of change right now, in terms of anything that we would like to see within Carleton, especially for marginalized communities. Just joined as an ex officio member just for, I guess, constitutional reasons within their board. So I'm very happy and very glad and excited to see what that has in store. Wow, okay. So I attended a virtual community building seminar that had to do with the SEO and other stakeholders, and again, marginalized communities, how to make life in university more accessible. Love that certain people are taking the initiative and seeing the greatness of this. And also I reached out to both campus-wide or I started to reach out to both campus-wide and Ottawa-centric departments pertaining to the campaigns. So that's just some loose strings. Now we're on to ongoing projects. So finalizing research and ideas for campaigns, focusing especially on hybrid and remote models. So I would like to say that a lot of the campaigns that I mentioned earlier, I do have like, I guess 2.5 versions of each. So one online, one in person, and a hybrid version as well. So we'll be hashing that out on how that would look like, especially because a lot of our cities have entered phase 2 if you're in Ontario. Oh yeah, I don't know capitalization. I will be doing an open call on my Instagram to students at large, but as counselors, again, get involved if you really want to as well. If you have any ideas at all, or just want to brainstorm or be like, hey, I would like to see if this is there, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to. Promoting Empower Me. It's ongoing as always, and then focusing and meeting with relevant stakeholders regarding my policy points. So if you need a refresher on that, please visit our website. And now the month ahead. I know my report's a little long. It's been a busy past couple of weeks. So collaborating on events for campaign ideas. I know I mentioned it throughout, but it's kind of, yeah, focus on the years, getting more student groups involved. So reach out to both campus-wide or central departments, as I said before. Make a TikTok with Morgan. It was supposed to be, it's there 2 times because I didn't get to do so in June. So like, this is supposed to manifest it doubly. Meet with service center coordinators to brainstorm and implement events into my calendar. Service centers are literally like the heart of CUSA. As a previous service center coordinator, I know how hard they work, and we would love to see their events flourish and even more of a greater scale this year. Work in depth on my policy points, as I said, specifically on the pop-up clinics. A lot of people were very excited about that, so I would love to, I guess, meet everyone's expectations on that and finalize budget and logistics for campaigns. And then again, because I said it 2 times, make a TikTok with Morgan. It's necessary. We will do it this month. No questions asked. So that ends my report. If you have any questions, comments, insights, you can reach me by email at vpsi@cusaonline.ca, Instagram at @tinuvelli. I'm not by my phone or the office phone, so those 2 will suffice. And thank you very much. Sincerely, Tina Akiwande, your VPSI. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the Vice President Community Engagement Report.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. If anybody's in summer school classes, I hope your exams and finals are almost done and went well. So this past month, I was featured, or I recorded the Carleton Pathway podcast. So that'll be published in the upcoming weeks, I believe. They honestly didn't even tell me when it'll be published. I established partnerships with the First Year Connections program that's offered through the SEO, as well as the Alumni Mentorship program that is offered through the Advancement Office. In terms of the FYC program, some of my fellow execs will actually be acting as mentors, so that's really exciting. Like Kathleen and Tinu mentioned, I was also a part of the webinar for standing in solidarity with our Black folk or Black community as non-Black folk. I confirmed a programming schedule for the Financial Literacy Month with Tinu, so that's really exciting. We can start to really work on those initiatives. We also had the meeting with our BOGs and the GSA, which was really nice to get to meet everybody and finally make match the faces to the names. I also started the CUSA Marketplace mock-up, so that's a pretty large initiative, but one of my platform points, so it's nice to actually get that one going. I did a lot of work on updating the CUSA engagement funnel, especially during COVID times. I want to make sure that students still have the opportunity to get involved with CUSA. So this included revising and updating the street team structure and all of the documents that haven't been edited or anything for years, which was shocking. Chat with the past volunteer coordinator to talk about the areas of improvement and also what their goals were, and hopefully to integrate those. Created expectations for the street team for online events. So again, I want to make sure that we're engaging students still, and that required being a little creative with how that will work. And I also started building the structure for the brand ambassador program. So that's something that'll be almost like another tier above the street team, another really cool way to get involved with CUSA and really represent our brand. And I started looking at the application processes and the compensation. So there's a lot of different things, perhaps discounts to our swag shop or referral codes, fun stuff like that. And we also had a team bonding workshop with the whole exec team. If we can scroll down just a little bit. Ryan. Perfect, thank you. And for my ongoing projects, so to launch the revamped student engagement funnel and open the applications, I have a TikTok collaboration with athletics coming up soon. Working on the swag shop still, finalizing design, so that'll be done within the next week or so, and to order merchandise as well as determining the logistics of things. So working with Havens in that aspect as well. Again, working towards the Financial Literacy Month programming. Startup Fest, so Startup Fest, for anybody that's unfamiliar, it'll be almost like a three-parter. So one, being able to showcase our current student entrepreneurs' businesses so that we're able to support our peers. There'll also be a showcase of local startups that may be looking to hire students. And there will also be opportunities for students that aspire to be entrepreneurs or maybe coming up with business ideas, and they're looking for mentorship or maybe connections to financial support or whatever it may be. And I'm also looking to collaborate with Hatch, so that's our entrepreneurship service center. And I've also worked on collaborating with the 3 skills. So that's a personal and professional development business. They offer webinars. I actually posted one of the webinars that they will be holding on day. Go check it out and get a little taste of their style. It's actually really, really helpful. Preparing people for life after graduation and trying to find jobs is helpful always. And in the months ahead, planning our virtual brunch now. It's too bad that we won't be able to have that on campus in the fall, but we're gonna make the most of it. In addition, virtual networking event collaboration with the advancement office. So again, it's really important as students to have the opportunity to make those connections. Again, preparing us for the world out of post-secondary education. So we're gonna be creative in that aspect. Again, CUSA Marketplace, determining the platform of it and implementing. And lastly, working with the service centers to create services accessible virtually and in person if we can. But yeah, so I'll be working closely with the service centers from now on. So hopefully I'll have more updates about the things that they're working on as well. But from what I've heard so far, they have a lot of really great ideas, and they've all been really creative in trying to engage with students despite everything going on. So if you have any questions, you can always reach me by my email, vpce@CUSA Online. And yeah, I probably won't be taking the phone either. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to the Vice President's Student Life Report.
Hey everybody, Ozzy here. I hope you're doing well. And yeah, on to my report. Past month, I finished transitioning with Jamie. It was great. She got me ready for this. Shout out to her. We did the strategic planning workshop. Morgan touched on it, so I won't really go into it. I met with athletics, so I had a lot of meetings with athletics. We talked about collaborations throughout the year. So we talked about essentially what we want to see, especially since everything will be online this year and they canceled the OUA season for the fall at least. So how we can involve athletics, keep students still in that aspect. Next, standing in solidarity with the Carleton's Black community. We did 2 events, the community check-in I did with Tinu, which was great. It was just really cool to check in, talk to everybody, see how everybody's feeling. And then the webinar with U Ottawa. U Ottawa, I had no real involvement. That was all Morgan, Kathleen, and Tinu, so shout out to them. That was great. I met with TD Lansdowne. It was pretty good. We're discussing possible collaborations. So we're discussing what we could do in the fall as well as winter if everything hopefully continues as it's going. I guess I was strategic planning retreat twice, so I'm gonna ignore that. Met with incoming BOG, so we met with the incoming BOG and just said hey, hope everything's good, And ongoing, planning an online frosh. So we're just planning what to do, what we're gonna do with frosh. So getting schedule done, getting what we want to see happen at Frosh. It's online and keeping first years interested, especially since it'll be their first time on campus, virtually, I guess, in that experience. So just trying to make sure it's the best time for them and the best time for the facilities who are volunteering their time. Possible renovations at Oliver's, so we're doing that. And then upgrading Havens. Jacob already talked about that. We got ice cream, great, love ice cream. So we're gonna eat a lot of that on my paycheck there. Supporting and celebrating Pride Month and Indigenous History Month. So we did the Pride clause with stakeholders and students at large, and we actually asked students at large what they want to see happen at the university as well. So we're hoping, to continue our progress in that aspect. The GSRC, so the Gender and Sexuality Resource Center in Carleton, is holding a craft afternoon. So I'm just plugging that right now from the 27th and 30th. So if anyone wants to come in, please don't be shy, come through. It'll be via Zoom. And if you check their page on Facebook, you'll find it there. I think on their Instagram page as well. And on the month ahead, so we're doing continuous online programming. So hopefully we're going to bring in more fun things, like trivia and and other things. I know I said more music. Finishing Frosh. So we're just finishing Frosh, getting the schedule set up, and getting the boxes sent out to the participants. So we're giving them the Frosh boxes. You probably had that if you did Frosh in the past. And then we're looking into a possible Frosh concert. So we don't know how that'll be. It'll be some parts online because we know not all students will be able to come to Ottawa or Carleton. And then hopefully might be able to do something that's semi-hybrid in person, which goes to my next point. Well, one of my later points, drive-in theater with SEO. So Jacob mentioned it. We're thinking about bringing in a drive-in theater and partnering with SEO for that. So we have a drive-in theater in Carleton, and it would just try to essentially replace the fun things that we're missing, like our Thirsty Thursdays, which I do miss, and allow students to have like a sense of normalcy in these times, because we always want everybody to feel good, especially in these tough times. And now I'm just gonna go back in my report a bit. So met with DNA, so we can see what possible events are happening and keep us updated in basically the progress, especially because they're very close connections with the provincial government. So they're just helping us out with that aspect. We're meeting with the U Ottawa Student Union. I think that is tomorrow. And yeah, we're trying to get for the drive-in theater a place for res kids because res kids might not have a car. So trying to get them something that they could actually watch and enjoy, because if they're in res and their university is not open, they're losing the whole experience. So we want to keep them that experience. So we're going to meet with university administration and ask for permission, as well as a place we can do it for free. Free trials, I touched on that before. We're looking at getting free trials for students, so students can actually explore new hobbies and try new things out. So you can go a little down, Ryan. And then, yeah, revamping Ollie's, trying to make Ollie's bigger and better. So we're trying to fix the interior, new menu, and then general programming, whether there's a DJ streamed online or not. We hope to bring a lot of great things to you. You can reach my email, vpsl@CUSA.online, and my Instagram there. Phone number really won't work because I'm never really in the office. So yeah, have a good one.
All right, thank you. That wraps up the reports, or the vice president reports. Is there a raw report?
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan.
The floor is yours.
So basically, right now, obviously, a big thing that we're focused on is the current election that is happening. So tonight's actually the debate. So I think after my report, I might have to excuse myself. But with addition to the election, I am currently working with the Student Experience Office and CUSA as well in terms of planning Frosh, because that still is going ahead, obviously. So that's kind of where my energy is focused right now, while Lena is focused on the election. So that's all we really have for today, but thank you.
Thank you. Is there a GSA report?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sound good.
Okay, awesome. Hi folks, I don't know if all of us have met. My name's Namratha. My pronouns are she and they, and I'm the GSA president. So there's some things that we've been working on this year. We've gotten a new executive director as well as like a new team. So just transitioning during the pandemic is also something that we've been doing for the past month. We've been in constant contact with the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs in terms of advocating for graduate students. Some of the issues that we have been advocating for are co-op fees, like a reduction in co-op fees, as many students are facing like financial difficulties during COVID-19, academic breaks for international students, funding for grants, a mandatory anti-racism course for all students, as well as an anti-racism strategy from Carleton, adjusting many incoming expectations for graduate students for the fall, as many of them have to juggle being parents. Some of them are mature students, some of them are international students. So just like managing expectations from for incoming graduate students. Something else that we've been advocating for is funding for like a reduction in funding for master students that are international students, as they're still paying 3 times the tuition fees, and during COVID that is really inaccessible. So we're trying to advocate for that as well as more mental health support for graduate students. Some of the events that we've done in the last little while, we've had healing spaces specifically to respond to the events of anti-Black racism that have happened in the community. So we've had like a psychotherapist and a social worker come in and have spaces for Black students specifically. And then we've also had open spaces as well. Those events have been going very well and they're well attended. So that's really nice to see. We'll be continuing to hold those events for the next month. We've also made donations to the Black Legal Action Center just because we believe like a statement of solidarity is just the starting point. So we wanted to make sure that was backed up by monetary donations. And we've also, as a team, a lot of us are community organizers, so we've been supporting protests on the front lines as well. Something that I've personally been working on just as president is passing our budget and trying to reconcile our budget with COVID-19. I can imagine CUSA might be facing some similar difficulties in terms of student registration, so that's definitely something that we're facing as well. So we've also been working on our communication strategy as an organization to see where our gaps are and where we can do better, as well as a rebranding of our whole organization that we'll be doing next year for our 30th year anniversary. I was also really fortunate to meet with Kathleen and Jacob and Travis and Abdil and other folks. So it was really good to see you. We've also been really fortunate to meet with CUSA and have conversations about our relationship. So that was great. We are also looking into a space for community organizers, so building a community organizing hub for students and for community organizers to access funding for things that they would like to do. As well as we're continuing to establish and build our peer support program. And lastly, I've been sitting and along with our VP academics on GFB and Senate and bringing forward student concerns there as well. So that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there a CASG report?
Yes, hello.
Hey, we can hear you.
Perfect. All right, hey everyone. Hope your Junes have been going pretty well and you're taking advantage of COVID regulations loosening up. My TSN highlight of the month was easily getting a haircut. Felt great. I've actually been getting pretty busy this month, just working on a few things, an ongoing project, revamping our branding on social media. And also, we're still accepting applications for the International Student Relief Bursary until June 30th at midnight. So if you are a friend or an international student and you're still looking for a job right now, need a little boost to help you get through the summer, please apply. It's on our Facebook page, and you can send it to our VP Academic, Pierce, through his email there. Also, as we've seen the world, and more specifically our community, come to grips with the fact that racism is still a very real problem, not only in the US, but here in our backyards. Our executive puts together an action plan, reforming different aspects of our internal operations to create a more inclusive environment within CASG. This plan includes introduction of an equity committee, equity officers that sit on our council, and sensitivity training mandated once a year in our bylaws for our council, because as student leaders, we all need to be sensitive to these issues. All these changes are going to be brought to our new council for approval in the fall. And finally, going into July, our VPO Vanessa and I are starting to prepare our operating budget for the 2020-21 academic year, tackling all the challenges and opportunities that our new reality brings. That's it from us. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you. Is there a Senate report? There is no Senate report. Is there a Board of Governors report?
If I may jump in here. So there is a brief report. I will be, I'm the incoming undergraduate governor, so I will be beginning my...
So, hey, this would be for the, this would actually be for the representative. You'd have to be a representative.
Well, I just wanted to jump in. I did send out a brief overview.
Yeah, okay. Continue. Hello?
Yep, that's it. I just want
sorry, yeah, sorry, you kind of broke up there. I don't think anybody heard that.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say that's it. I did send out an email with a brief PDF laying out a review of the last year. So just to give you an idea of what was accomplished by the Board of Governors, by the former governors from the 2019-2020 period.
Sorry, Nathaniel, who did you speak to?
I may be having an issue with my mic here.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to say that you must have gotten an email with a PDF. It's also available.
Yes, we did receive the email.
Great, so it just gives you an overview of what the Board of Governors accomplished with regard to students for the 2019-2020 period. So I have summarized that for consideration.
Okay. But so in regards to delivering that report right now, though, you are not currently the representative, so you are not able to do that.
Of course, I just provided all of you with a copy, so I'm not wishing to speak.
All right.
Sorry,
thank you.
One sec. Nathaniel, you said you sent the report? Do you mind if I ask where you sent that? I just didn't receive it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll copy you into the email. I sent a broad email to all CUSA counselors and I believe to the chair and the clerk with just a report covering what the BOG representatives was able to accomplish over the last term.
All right, do you mind just forwarding it to me, thanks? Just so we can, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a constituency report? There's not. Are there any committee reports? Okay, none that I see. Are there items for information?
I have something, if I can, right?
Yep, sure, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. Me again, Tinu. I just want to let, especially the counselors know, and for those who are students at large as well, know that next month I will be striking the Student Issues Action Committee. If you want to know any more information about that, please hit me up. For those who are like avid mini activists out there, I feel like it would be great for you. But again, if you need or want any more information about that, please do not hesitate to hit me up, and it'll be striked next council meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Are there any other items for information? All right, I don't see any. We're going to open up the questions period. Are there any questions? Cameron Davis, is that you having a question?
Yeah, I did have a few quick questions I wanted to ask. So am I able to just go through them all now, or would you like me to wait to see if others have questions?
So the official rule of question period is you're allowed to ask up to 2 questions. And for each question you ask, you're allowed to have 1 follow-up if you want.
Sounds good.
All right, so do you have a question?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, I'll launch right into kind of the first question I'd like to ask. This is for VPF. I'm kind of just wondering how much we're looking into the financial viability of things like Havens, Ollies, and Roosters currently, and whether there's any consideration towards potentially freezing Ollies and Roosters until the winter semester, since a lot of students won't actually be able to go to them on campus.
All right, VP Finance, would you like to respond?
All right, you literally like the first half of it. I caught it when you were talking Ollies and Havens and like jumped out of it. Can you say that again?
Yeah, for sure. So I just wanted to ask if there were financial considerations towards sort of the financial viability of Havens, Ollies, and Roosters, and whether there was any consideration towards Ollies and Roosters getting frozen until the winter semester, since a lot of students won't be able to actually go to them on campus.
Perfect. Yeah, 100%. So we have obviously like looked at it. For example, like we have had requests from some students about Ollie's patio, but we have to look at the viability of the size of it. Obviously, there's nobody else on campus, whether we'd even be allowed to. So the Ollie's patio is something we're looking into a little bit more specifically, as well as even just offering like delivery services, because again, that involves having students on campus when there's not really supposed to be a lot of people on campus. In terms of Havens, right now, since people are at home, like we don't have people coming into the store to buy like textbooks, so we have had Havens shut down. But now we are looking to introduce like the soft serve and the ice cream as a way to bring additional revenue that we wouldn't have had without anyways in Havens. And Roosters is quite the same. So in campus life where we see no students on campus in the fall semester, I would say it's like 99-1 that we would ever have them open as usual, right? Because that's just financially kind of silly, right? So what we're gonna end up doing, and like yeah, and for sure, like I understand your question that you're saying, because it'd be crazy if we did, right? So we're really just taking a look and seeing what the university is gonna do, because if they do move into a hybrid fall semester, then we're like, okay, maybe we open Roosters in the mornings kind of thing, right? When people are on campus for breakfast. So they're definitely considerations we're looking at. And that's why we have taken kind of like a longer time to implement these, because we could just send out a delivery service and drivers tomorrow night, but it's whether or not it's feasible and whether or not the market is there. So that's a lot of what we're doing right now. And we are definitely listening to those considerations.
Okay, Cameron, you said you have multiple questions. So this would be the point where you could either ask your follow-up question for your first question or move on to your second question.
I think I'll go ahead and move on to my second question. This is actually for VPSI. So I really like the EDI course directory. I just wanted to know if you were considering looking at it. So in engineering, we have specific complementary study electives that we're allowed to take. I was wondering if there was any consideration to help expand expand the list of courses that we're allowed to take so that we're allowed to take more of the sort of EDI focused courses. I think that engineers would benefit a lot, and STEM as a whole would benefit a lot from us being able to take a lot of the courses in that list that you put on the link tree for the CUSA Instagram. I think it'd be great if more engineering students were able to take them.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the question. Wait, can y'all see me? Sorry. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Okay, sorry. Thank you for the question, Cameron. I know some of my engineering friends were saying that as well. Even those who are in very, I guess, very restrictive courses like PAPM, engineering, science, they may not get as much electives as they need to be. So that's actually a really, really good question. I would like to work on that even more, especially on expanding that and even the prerequisites as well, because for some courses that are on the directory, they need more. But I know when it comes to Michael Charles, he's actually the Assistant Vice President of Equity and Inclusionary Services. I know he's really looking into implementing like more change, especially within the curriculum. So I'll be more than happy to actually bring that up in the advisory committee meeting, which will be happening sometime late this month, early next month. But if you have any outstanding, or if you want to go in details with that, shoot me an email or even like message me on any of our platforms, and I'll be more than happy to again look over it and see how I can advocate for those things to be done. Because again, like as an FPA student, FAST student, you may get more leeway, and it's important that all people get educated on this. Yeah, thank you. Well, did that answer your question? If it didn't, I could.
Yeah, that was good. That was great. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is anyone else who has any questions? I see Liam Lowe with his hand up.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yep.
Perfect. Hey, so I've been seeing a petition online right now about lowering fees for this semester coming up, the fall semester. So I was wondering for VP Finance and the President, what you guys thought about that, and if we're ready to maybe bring it up with the school.
Kathleen, would you like to expand on this? I know it was in your report, but I can also talk on it if you like.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you for that question, Liam. Obviously, many students are asking us about this, especially international students who are hit particularly hard. And as you might have noticed in my report, I touched on it. So I met with Suzanne Blanchard, who's the Vice President of Students and Enrollment, as well as the University Registrar. And we had a really productive conversation on this topic. I made 2 requests. So specifically to freeze tuition increases for international students, considering domestic tuition increases are frozen, but for international students, they're going up nearly 8% this year. And so the university is quite hesitant to move forward on this. So like obviously the advocacy in this area will have to continue. They want to approach it with more needs-based bursaries. So I'll be following up with them regularly to see how exactly they're going to implement a bursary system for all students, but especially international students, that targets students who are specifically struggling, because they're hesitant to do like a general system. Now, in terms of lowering tuition for domestic students, I agree that the quality of service that students are getting is not the same as if they're in person, and the university should adjust their costs accordingly. So one thing I requested the university look into is framing it instead of a tuition decrease as a bursary, or credit that's given to all students in their Carleton credit account. And it also could be something that could incentivize long-term registration. So I suggested potentially giving a credit to students who register in the fall towards the winter to incentivize students to come back to campus. And the university is looking really seriously at this option. So they really like that idea. And Suzanne said that she'd get back to me shortly on how we can implement this in some way, because I do think it's financially viable for the university to either decrease tuition or potentially give out a little bit of a credit or bursary, because if it ups enrollment, then it pays off in terms of their budget. But overall, the university is hesitant to move forward on this topic, considering its costs are still high, and they have passed the budget for the year already. So our advocacy continues in this area, but it's definitely challenging.
All right,
So
thank you.
like you can definitely follow up if you have a question.
Would you like to follow up, or is that good?
Yeah, that was it's kind of like, it seems like you guys are already on the ball, so it's perfect.
Thanks for the question, Liam. And definitely reach out if you have other ideas of how we can help the university or how we can move the university forward on this. Always open. Thanks.
All right, Emily, is that your hand up for a question?
Yes. Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. So I had a quick question for our VPI in regards to the social media going on with the CUSA Council, as I've had a couple of members of different student organizations approach me about it. So like, what is the content creation plan for the CUSA Council page, and how are we going to ensure that it's consistent throughout times where especially like online interaction is super essential? So like, what's the kind of game plan for that?
So essentially what this the social media will contain is our agendas, our minutes. We'll also be using the platform to publish and let students be aware of when our council meetings is. We'll always be including our link to our meetings within the bio, just so it's more accessible to any student who would like to join our council meeting. At the same time, we will be making postings for our counselors from each department. So if students do stumble across it, or if they have any questions, they know who to speak to, since all our counselors will have a posting on there, and they'll have their contact information there. So students will be able to contact the counselors. And on the other hand, we don't want to solely have an opinion on it. We want our counselors also have opinion on it, since they do represent the students. We want them to bring forward their ideas of what they would want on the social media, just so we can post it there as well.
Perfect. And is it you that it's running the page for the time being? Yeah.
It's myself in the communications office that we just created it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
No worries.
All right, are there any other questions? All right, moving on to other business. The first motion of the night, the motion to fill the vacant science. There we go. Motion to fill the vacant special student seat. Presentation summary, whereas after the 2019 CUSA general election, one special student CUSA council seat is vacant. Information transfer. Be it resolved that the following seat of council be voted on and filled. One special student counselor. Moved by Farouk Amafli, seconded by Kathleen Weary. Farouk, would you like to motivate?
We filled one position last council. We have one more open. There was a student who did complete the requirements and showed interest in filling the role. Unfortunately, I've messaged them, tried to contact them. They're not present with us right now, and they haven't sent in a speech, so I don't really have much more except for their name.
Okay, well, then with that said, is anyone that wants to motivate themselves or another student, please come forward. Or in this case, put your hand up. Okay, doesn't seem like anybody's interested. Motion to table. All in favor? Yeah, if you can just all leave your hands up, that'd be useful. Any opposed? Okay, any abstentions? Motion passes. The second motion of the night then. Yep. Motion to fill the Constitutional Board. Presentation summary, whereas the term of office for all members of the CUSA Constitutional Board ends on April 30th under bylaw 3S 2.0A, and whereas the Constitutional Board must be filled at the first meeting of council under bylaw 1S 5.1A. Information transfer, be it resolved that CUSA Council fill the vacant seats on the Constitutional Board as follows. A, 4 members of the association who are not members of council. B, 2 alternatives. Be it further resolved that CUSA Council ratify the the university ombudsperson to be the 5th member of the Constitutional Board as per bylaw 3S1.0b. Moved by Farouk Amuflehi, seconded by Kathleen Weary. Farouk, would you like to motivate?
Yeah, we presented this last council. Unfortunately, we had to table it. We presented again today as we do have candidates who would like to fill some positions on the committee. Thank you.
All right. All right. So is anyone who would like to motivate themselves or another student, put your hand up.
I do have a couple students who have sent me in a speech.
Okay. Is it everyone?
2. I have 2.
2? Okay. Do we, was it just 2? Okay. All right, then, Farouk, would you like to read the application?
Yeah, let me pull them up. Okay. Right. So the first one, their name is hold on. Can everyone see that name?
Yes, we can see in the minutes you're typing.
Okay. Liam, can you see us? Yeah, you can see it now. Okay, cool. So, and I quote, oh. Hey, CUSA Council, I am so sorry I cannot be with you tonight due to my commitment as a campaign manager in the raw election. With my experience working professionally in policy with Ontario's Ministry of Education and with my local school board, I am confident I will have the skills to succeed in this role. Furthermore, I'm really looking forward to being part of something bigger than myself in the Carleton community and learn even way more about leadership and governance with CUSA. Thank you for your time and consideration. So that's Dakota Livingston. Next up, we have Fatma. Hello. All right, and I quote, "Hello, my name is Fatima, and I'm entering my 4th year of criminology and criminal justice with a concentration in law. As an active member of the Carleton community, I understand the importance of having a board that can hold people accountable and uphold Carleton's values. I have been the team lead for CAMS Kids here at Carleton for the past 2 years, which allowed me to have coordinate and work alongside a group of amazing ambassadors in the Carleton community, coordinate and manage meetings, host pop-ups and events at Carleton, and welcome new ambassadors to our team. This past year, I also spent the fall and winter term as a part-time student at the Crown Attorney's Office, which showed me the importance of democracy, rules and regulations, and the responsibilities those with legal powers must follow in order to maintain public confidence and trust, which really complicates this position. Our board members should be impartial and independent from any bias or favoritism, which I can fully be focusing on the CUSA Constitution and hear complaints of potential violations with a focus of students' interests at large. Thank you for your consideration." That was Fatma. All right, and then we're waiting for 2 other individuals.
All right, well, if that's what we have, that's what we have. No response.
One of them said he forgot to send it. He's sending it right now.
Sending it right now.
Yeah, we'll just give him 1 minute or a couple minutes. If he doesn't respond, then I guess we'll just go forward with the voting.
I'll give him a minute and then, yeah.
Yeah, and just a reminder for everyone, this is for students at large who are not members of council. So we're still looking to fill some spots on this committee. So if you know students, if you have friends, like, please encourage them to apply. This is a really important committee. And if you have questions about like what the responsibilities of the committee entail, first of all, on the CUSA website under jobs, there's the positions. So you can like send that along to your friends, and it shows like what each committee entails. And you can also reach out to Farouk directly, and he can let you know more like what the time commitment is for these committees, what your tasks would entail, anything like that. So definitely a good way to get like a deeper taste of CUSA.
Yeah, with that being said, we still have 2 alternative seats on this committee. If you have anyone that's interested, please let them know. Basically, what that is when any of the 4 members cannot attend, then the 2 alternatives will be asked to fill in that position. So the 2 alternatives is more. There's less commitment, but they will be called in when one of the 4 um, primary members are not able to attend. All right, so I got one. Their name is okay. And I quote, "Hello, my name is Aaron Ajman. Sorry I cannot be with you there today as I got caught up writing a final exam. My interest in this position primarily arise since my first year at Carleton. Um, this community has given me so much, so I continue to look for ways and methods to give back to the community that's helped me become the person I am today. My interest in this position arises from my desire to enable students to make the most of the Carleton experience, whether through committees or events or even student government. I hope you take me into consideration. Thank you." So that was Aaron.
Well, we give him 2 minutes. Have you got the application on the 4th?
I do not.
All right, well, I'm going to call it here. At this point, we normally ask questions. There's no one here to answer any questions. So would anyone like to speak on any of the applicants' behalfs? You just raise your hand. Okay, I don't see anybody. So with that said, we're going to move on to voting. Give me a quick sec.
Just want to give an update when it comes down to voting. If you are a proxy for a different counselor, you do have the right to vote on their behalf. So please feel free. And then the only individuals who cannot vote, Chelsea, Ryan, and Nathaniel Black, if you are still present. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to paste the link in the chat. Just make sure everyone can see that. Open up, this is for the Constitutional Board. There are 4 seats that are open. There's only 3 people running. You can vote up to 3 times. You can vote for everyone, no one, or any combination that you want. Farouk, I think you might have shared your screen there. I'll just close that. All right, so we're currently at 21 of 29 potential votes. Still waiting on 8 people.
Oh, I didn't even know I was muted. Oh, yeah, my mistake. Sorry, Ryan.
It's all good.
If anyone does not know how to access the chat, please just raise your hand and we can help you go from there. I know we have a few new counselors, and if you don't know, just let us know.
Is there anyone who wasn't able to see the link? Anyone who hasn't voted and you're trying to figure it out, just speak up now. Also, make sure that you've pressed done after you voted. Just clicking the three buttons, you have to press the little done button. Okay, and the results are in. All three who are running got in. Fatima, Dakota, and Aaron. They've all reached the minimum to get in, which is perfect. So they are now going to be sitting on the, this would be the Constitutional Board. I believe, yes. All right, all in favor? Okay, any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Motion to destroy ballots, all in favor? Thank you. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, so that's 3. So we're still looking for 1 additional member of the association who are not members of council and 2 alternatives to fill in when they're not there. Motion to table. All right, any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. The next motion of the night. Sorry, could you scroll up just a little bit? Oh, there we are. Okay. Motion to fill the vacant Accessibility Fund committee seats. Presentation summary, whereas CUSA needs to fill the Accessibility Fund committee for the 2020 through 2021 year. And whereas bylaw 8S 3.0 states that the composition of the committee be A, VP Finance, B, the appropriate vice president, C, 4 students with disabilities, D, 2 CUSA counselors, E, 2 students at large. Information transfer, be it resolved that CUSA Council vote to fill the committee with the following vacant seats. A, 4 students at large, B, 2 students with disabilities. Moved by Farouk Amaflay, seconded by Kathleen Weary. Farouk, would you like to motivate? If you're speaking right now, you're on mute.
Sorry, I didn't even know. Unless I'm mistaken, sorry, I wanted a motion to amend. I don't believe we filled the 2 counselor positions last month. So I would like to include that in be it resolved. So this is what it would look like. So this is my proposed motion. Okay, get out of the way. So that is my motion to amend.
All right, motion to amend, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, information transfer. Be it resolved that CUSA Council vote to fill the committee with the following vacant seats. A, 4 students at large. B, 2 students with disabilities. C, 2 CUSA counselors. And Farouk, would you like to motivate?
Okay, I'm good. Yeah, so we need to fill this as soon as possible. I know that the accessibility committee, in the sense of the appropriate exec, are looking to host a meeting soon. There's a few things that we have to run by the committee. I know we presented this last month and no counselor showed interest. Just to reiterate, counselors, you are required to sit on a committee before the December 31st deadline. So if this is something of interest, sooner or later we're gonna have to fill 2 counselors. So please just give it a second thought, and yeah, we have to fill it. Thank you.
All right, is anyone that would like to motivate themselves or another student for this position? Yep, just put your hands up. Right, and there are 2 positions that will be available for counselors. Okay, I see Jordan, Liam, and Emily. Yep. Okay, so we're gonna go one by one down the list, and you guys can talk and give a a short little concise speech about why you think you'd be good for the position. Jordan, would you like to start?
Sure. I really think having campus be accessible for everyone is really important, especially now that there is an online semester. We really need to be able to have these services available to students, especially things like the Paul Menton Center. Having those services available to students online will be really important. Note taking as well, having students that have online classes, notes taken is really important as well. So yeah, I'm really hope I could get on this committee. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Liam, if you'd like to, yep.
Thanks. So for me personally, I want to get involved in this one because it comes close to my heart. I know family and friends that have disabilities and are still getting an education, my brother included. And yeah, so it's like, I know a lot about what it takes like to go the extra mile to help people to make it equal and fair for them to get their degree. So for that reason, I'd like to be on this committee.
All right, thank you. And Emily, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you. So I really think that I'd be a fantastic fit for this committee, as I am truly passionate about ensuring that having an education is accessible physically and mentally for all students on campus and off campus, especially during a time in which accessibility is very important, not just for people who are commuting to and from campus, but intellectual accessibility. As someone who does use the resources the Paul Menton Center has to offer and has experienced having an individual education plan throughout my elementary to current educational experience, I think that being able to sit on this committee would be incredibly not only enlightening for me, but also give an insight into the people who are really using the services and would help create an accessible community for Carleton. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. We're going to open up the floor to questions. As a reminder, if you do have a question for any of the candidates, it must apply to all of the candidates. Or in other words, everybody will get a chance to respond to every question. So is there anybody that has a question for any of the candidates? Just raise your hand. All right, I see no questions. We're going to put the 3 applicants into the waiting room. All right, perfect. Is there anyone who would like to speak on any of the applicants' behalfs? Just put your hand up. Nope. Okay, then with that, we're going to get into the voting. Same deal as before. I'm going to post the link. Okay. And there we are. Everyone should be able to see that. All right, and I'm going to reiterate, there are 2 potential votes that you have. You do not have 3 votes. You can only vote up to twice. All right, still waiting on 10 people. Still waiting on 7. Okay, waiting on 1 more. Okay. And I'm going to call it. Results are in. The winners of the election are Emily and Jordan. So they'll be able to sit as counselors now on that board. All right. Yeah, all in favor? No. Okay. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Motion to destroy ballots. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. We'll invite the 3 applicants back in the room now. So I would like,
Yeah, sorry.
no, I was gonna say, I would like to wait till they come in, but there's no guarantee they're gonna be at their computer right now. So for the sake of time, those are our two CUSA counselors, okay? Is anyone else decided to run for any of these positions, Farouk?
I have 2 students with disabilities who have emailed me in.
Okay. I guess I'll move on to the students with disabilities then. Yep, whenever you're ready.
Yep. So the first individual is Christine. All right, and I quote, "Hello everyone, my name is Kristen Crow. I am entering my 3rd year at Carleton University this fall. I'm in neuroscience and mental health program. I am interested in a position on the Accessibility Fund Committee. As a student registered with PMC, I understand the value and importance of accessibility regarding education. The educational piece is one of the part of the university experience, yet not the only piece. Social events allow students to build community, which I think is essential to thrive, especially in a university setting. It would be a pleasure to learn, advocate, initiate, and sustain accessibility to give all students an opportunity to get involved and participate in as many clubs, events, etc. as possible. I am highly organized individual, passionate and eager to learn. Creating a safe and accessible space should most definitely be the standard for all events on campus, and I would thoroughly enjoy making this possible. I believe my professional background, coupled with my personal experience, has well equipped me for this position. Thank you for your time." All right, that's the first individual. The second individual is Ben Smith. And I quote, "Good evening, CUSA members. My name is Ben Smith. I am a recent transfer from Ryerson University and will be pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science at Carleton. It's my hope to contribute and join the phenomenal team at the CUSA as the member of Accessibility Fund Committee. As someone with a learning disability, breaking down barriers for everyone with a disability has been something I've strived to be a part of, and I hope I've been able to create positive change this far. During my time in high school, I served as the student trustee with my school board and as a chief executive operator of the Ontario Student Trustee Association, the largest student association stakeholder in Ontario's K-12 education system. Currently, I sit as a member of the Government of Ontario's Educational Standards Development Committee, developing an accessibility standard under the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act for both the post-secondary and the K-12 education system. I also am a member of the Ministry of Education's Advisory Council on the Special Education. Accessibility is truly my passion, and with your support, I hope to be able to use my experience to support the CUSA in its goal to representing our student body and ensuring a universal accessibility community for Carleton students. I also very much hope this will help me grow within CUSA and contribute to it in any way I can over the upcoming years. I thank you all for your consideration." So those are the 2 individuals who have sent in their spiel.
All right, thank you. We're gonna move on to voting. There's the web link. There's 4 positions open, 2 people running. You can vote no times, once or twice. All right, we're already done. I like it. All right, votes are in. Christine Crow and Ben Smith, they both got the required number, so they're both in. Motion, well, yeah, all in favor? All right, any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Motion to destroy ballots, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Were there any students at large that applied, Farouk?
I did not receive any.
Can I nominate someone?
Yeah, you can.
All right. I'd like to nominate Nathaniel Black.
Okay. Yes, yeah, that would be allowed. That'd be allowed. Nathaniel, I'm not sure he's still here. Oh, he is still here.
I don't think that'll be allowed on the grounds that he holds a seat on council and he wouldn't be a student at large. So in order for you to be a student at large means you do not hold a seat on council.
I do not hold a seat on council. As I understand it, I am not mentioned in the bylaws. I mentioned on CUSA website as Board of Governors, I hold a position. However, it's not mentioned in the bylaws as I read them. So
the DOD does actually have a seat on our council. That's why we do not have to grant them speaking rights every single time. The only thing is they just don't have voting rights. So technically you do kind of have a seat on our council, or we would be conducting it differently.
withdrawn, or I would advise Cameron to withdraw.
Yeah, in that case.
Sorry, Cameron. It just
No worries. Yeah.
Okay. Now with that said, does anyone like to motivate or does anyone like to run or motivate another student? It'd have to be a student at large, so not on the council. No, okay. Okay, so there's still some seats that are going to be open. Counselors, there's your responsibility to try to help find some people for these positions if you can, or take them yourself. So with that said, motion to table, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, moving on. Okay, there we are. I screen blocked that for a second. Okay. Motion to strike and fill the Student Initiative Fund Committee. Presentation summary, whereas CUSA needs to fill the Student Initiative Fund for the 2020 through 2021 year. And whereas bylaw 7S 3.2, the SIFC shall have the following composition. CUSA Vice President Internal as Chair, CUSA Vice President Finance, 3 counselors appointed by the Council, and 3 students at large appointed by Council. Information transfer, be it resolved that the CUSA Council vote to fill the committee with the following vacant seat. A, 3 students at large. Moved by Farouk Al-Muflahi, seconded by Kathleen Murray. Farouk, would you like to motivate?
This is one of the other committees that we do have vacant seats. For this one, it's 3 students at large. So to our counselors, if you have any peers or any friends who would like to get involved and just build up their resume in any way, please just notify them, spread the word about these positions. These will be posted on our Instagram and Facebook. So counselors, when you do see them, please do share them. So just spread the word of our vacant seats and hopefully fill them by next month. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Motion to strike, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Are there any more motions? I believe there's one more. Farouk. Thank you. All right, we worked through all the motions of the night then. Okay, before we adjourn, let's see. Some people have their hands up. So if you have a question you'd like to speak, you can put your hand up and I'll work my way down. Okay, at the top, Matt Gagne, you have a question or you'd like to say something?
No, my bad. Left my hand up.
It's all good. It's gonna be a few of those. Liam, you're next.
Yeah, so I was hoping to motion that the incoming undergraduate report substitute the Board of Governors update this meeting. And just to motivate, it seems like there's a lot of work put into it and it's well thought out. So, yep.
So there's gonna be a few issues with that. But I don't mind passing this off to VP Internal if you'd like to speak on this.
Yeah, sorry, Liam, you're kind of a bit choppy there. Do you mind repeating what you said? I didn't quite hear it all.
Just to motivate to motion the incoming undergraduates report to substitute the Board of Governors update this meeting. That's what I'm asking.
I don't think I quite understand what you mean.
There was a report that was sent out yesterday.
Yeah.
By the undergraduate, and I'm just trying to motion it to replace the Board of Governors.
Sorry, replace the Board of Governors?
With the undergraduate?
Yeah, that report.
So I'm assuming you're referring to Nathaniel Black?
Yep.
Okay, so the issue with that is Nathaniel Black does not technically start his position based off what was released by Carleton until July 1st. So technically he's not the representative at the moment for BOG. And the second thing is reports are meant to be sent in to our clerk chair as per bylaw 4.3 section part B, which was not done up to my knowledge. And on that note, I don't think we can really motion your motion just of yet.
Okay, apparently it was sent to the clerk.
Okay, the clerk did not receive anything.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It also wasn't sent within the allotted time frame.
Yeah, and second of all, he's not. Sorry, Nathaniel Black is currently not the representative on our council for BOG since their term has not started.
Okay.
Like saying CUSA
it does.
exec?
It's just I'm a little bit confused if it was sent. Then yeah, I'm gonna withdraw.
Okay, because I think there's a few people who have not received it. And then just to kind of further explain, Liam, like for example, like if a CUSA exec or someone ran the CUSA election and we ratified the results as we do every February, they're not considered CUSA execs until their term begins, which is May 1st. So that's just the grounds that we're going off.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. All right, thank you, Liam.
If I can add, we definitely look forward to hearing and having Nathaniel elaborate on your report at our next council. And thank you for putting the time into creating such a detailed report. It was we really appreciate your enthusiasm, and we look forward to hearing from you next month.
Okay. Liam, do you have another question, or is your hand just still up? It's all good? Okay. Masuma, you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Sorry, I don't think we went through the motion to fill the vacant science seat, if I'm not mistaken. We just jumped into special student seat. I could be wrong, though. I'm not sure.
Vacant science seat. Farouk, did we miss that?
No, we went through it. We tabled it as AN Webby was not present. So her meeting the requirements and everything, she will be presented next council.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Okay. Next we have Pierce Birch. You have a question?
Yeah, just real quick. Can we get maybe an infographic or something like that so that we can get some of these students at large just to post on everybody's Instagram or something like that, just to make it easy so like people know that it's out there and it's not just coming from CUSA. That way, like it can reach a bigger follower base.
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna be doing upcoming in the next following week. I'm gonna be making postings on the CUSA Council Instagram and Facebook, and you'll all be tagged in it. So you'll be able to share with your companions and on your social media platforms. Does that answer your question, Pierce?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. And Masuma, you still have your hand up? Just forget to put it down. Or, yep. Okay. Okay. I don't see anyone else. So with that, motion to adjourn. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Council's adjourned.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out tonight. I know it's hot, it's long, we're on Zoom. It's hard to look at the screen all evening and all day, but I really appreciate everyone's energy and focus. And look forward to, thank you for the people who stepped up, and we look forward to filling all the committees with you folks in the coming weeks. So definitely if you want to take some time to look into